Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Celebrate Recovery Facebook Live. I am a believer in Jesus Christ whose struggles with drugs and alcohol brought me into recovery and more specifically brought me into Celebrate Recovery. And I'm glad to be with you guys tonight.
Hello, and I'm a believer in Jesus Christ who struggles with codependency. My name is Mary, and we're really excited about our time together because we have some very special guests with us tonight.
Wait. Before we do that, though, Mary, I've got to mention a couple things about the summit first before we bring you guys on. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. Celebrate Recovery, Come Rejoice Summit. The excitement is growing. You know, we've been hearing from a lot of different churches about buying big blocks of tickets for their Celebrate Recovery members and for their church members to come to. And what they're going to do is host a big summit party. Now, I will say, however the social distancing needs to take place, they will follow those guidelines as well. But we're thinking by that time we may all be ready to have a big party together. So our church in Woodland Park, Colorado is going to do this very thing, and they're planning a 2-day event of coming together as a Celebrate Recovery when they buy that big block of tickets. So if you're a church leader and you guys are thinking about hosting a online Celebrate Recovery Summit event with your church, please let us know because we want to recognize you guys on Facebook Live. You know, I will say this, Mary, this summit sort of started off, at least for us as leaders, not knowing how it was going to go. You know, we were even wondering, were we even going to be able to pull off an online summit because we're so used to having a physical summit. But the more we talked about it with each other, and then more importantly, the more we talked about it with you guys, the more excited we started getting about this summit. Because here's what we believe. We believe that more people than ever before are going to get to come to this summit. And what that translates into is that more Celebrate Recoveries are going to start than ever before in the history of Celebrate Recovery. So, if you're thinking about doing this, let us know in the comments tonight that you're going to do this, the block party. And then after you've registered your people, email us and let us know because we want to recognize you on future Facebook Live events. And right now, I'll just go ahead and recognize Impact Christian Church in Woodland Park. Lee and Jeannie Chapin are the ministry leaders there. They're our ministry leaders. And we just want to say thank you. Thank you for planning 2 great days with our local Celebrate Recovery that's going to get together and have a Celebrate event as we celebrate Come Rejoice.
Yes. And I mentioned that we have 2 special guests tonight. Some of you may have seen them earlier today. There was a short Facebook Live interview with the wrestler Tommy Two Toes and his manager Frank the magician. The musician or
He's a musician. He's a pretty musical magician.
That's right. They're both part of Celebrate Recovery. And you know, recovery is really hard work. And recovery during this quarantine pandemic has been tough. So we believe being in this ministry called Celebrate Recovery, we need to laugh. We need to be able to get through some of these seriously difficult days. So to help us with that, we have 2 of our dear friends with us who became a part of our Celebrate Recovery family. So joining us tonight to share a little bit about how their quarantine is going is the Skit Guys.
Tommy and Andy, come on out.
Woo!
Woo!
Howdy!
What's going on, everybody?
Howdy!
Fantastic to be here.
Oh boy, I tell you, Tommy, you quarantine has done you well, my friend.
Yeah, well, it's 8 o'clock. That's usually when I do my beauty mask. There are regiments we just can't change.
I feel like I should be silencing some of the lambs or something. It's just kind of weird.
Yes, I think you are. Yeah. I look scary. You look creepy.
That's right. Well, hey, I'm a magician, right?
Yes, and I'm an Amish.
We're glad you 2 could be with us tonight.
Fantastic. Hold on. I forgot. Yeah, my beard. I'm an Amish wrestler.
Hold on. Alexa, where am I? Alexa, where am I? Alexa. Alexa doesn't even know. Oh, Oh, that's good, buddy. That's good.
I'm an Amish wrestler.
Oh, that's good. Hey, Tommy.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you. I can't hear you very well.
Got
I'm
it.
going to call you.
Give me a call.
Tommy?
Yes.
Tommy?
Hello?
There you are. There you
Hello.
are.
What? Hello?
What are you doing, buddy?
I was just playing games on my phone.
That is wonderful. Hey, I'm talking to Mac and Mary.
Mac and Mary who?
You know, Mac and Mary Owen, you know.
Oh, macaroni. Oh,
Yes.
I miss old macaroni.
They're the best, aren't they?
Yes.
We're on Celebrate Recovery.
Oh, fantastic. Hold on. I see you. Oh, hello.
Mac and Mary.
Yes.
This
Thank
is what
you.
quarantine's doing to us.
Y'all look like you're holding up pretty well during this
We're
quarantine.
doing good. We're doing fantastic.
We're doing great. We're doing great.
How are we gonna do this?
Okay,
Mac?
yeah, I don't know. So all this wasn't planned, but I'm glad we didn't.
This is Mac in the future.
Oh, nice.
That's what I'm saying.
Nice.
I was figuring after
Well, our
quarantine this would be Mac.
Our Facebook audience knows that after 20 days of quarantine, you somehow think you can become your own barber. And I went from a buzz cut. It's actually growing out now some. So
It looks
Yeah.
fantastic.
Great.
thank
Mine
you.
is
Hey,
to,
after this is over, I'll be glad to cut y'all's hair.
Oh, I'd be glad for you not to.
I'll need it. I'll need it. It's kind of weird how it's growing out, but I'm very thankful for it. I'm just very thankful for it.
It's fantastic. Excellent. Yes. We're so glad that we could speak to the Mac and Mary. Hello.
Well, tell us a little bit how your family is holding up during the quarantine.
Well, I'll tell you what. Over here in jolly old England, we're just enjoying
Tommy.
tea and biscuits, but don't shake hands.
Tommy,
Yes.
hand me your glass.
Oh.
Hand me your glass.
Oh, hold on
Hand
a
me your
second.
glass.
Here you go.
Hold on. I got him.
Got it.
Ooh, those are nice. Look at
Fantastic.
those.
Well, have you guys been stocking up on anything that would surprise the viewers out here tonight during the pandemic?
No.
Stop.
No, we are careful. I've been, every time I go out, I know there's a lot of debate on whether it works or not, but I wear my mask every time I go out just to make sure that I don't get any of the corona.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
That's a very nice.
Yeah.
Alexa, what is Corona? What is Corona, Alexa?
Are there some things that you realize that you don't really need during this quarantine?
Ugh.
Yeah. Pizza.
I haven't realized that yet.
It's, you know, like it's so fascinating how much, you know, you got so much time on your hands and figuring out how to navigate that and what to do with it. My wife and I, we've probably done more yard work than we've ever done in the 10 years that we've lived at this house. So, yeah. So, I don't know if I need to keep doing that more, but we've gotten a lot done.
So are you up for Yard of the Month right now then?
We could be. It's very nice.
That's
Yes.
exciting. That's
It's
exciting.
Very, very nice. Very nice. What you drinking there, buddy?
Oh, it's just some coffee. What I've realized, I have two grown kids. I've got a 23-year-old, 22-year-old, and an 18-year-old, and they're both baristas. So what I've learned is I don't need coffee shops.
Excellent.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, here's a big question. Have you broken or have you started any new habits during the quarantine?
Tommy?
Yeah, no pants. It's a new habit. If you're not leaving the house, there's no reason. So
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I don't know, Eddie. Yeah.
I would say, as far as a new habit, mornings have been really beautiful. Instead of just, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, and get on with your day. There's been kind of just a quelling, just kind of that be still and know that I am God moments, and that's been nice. That's been nice because kids, my daughters are sleeping in till I don't know 11, noon, 2. No, there's enough time there in the morning where there's some margin where it's not getting them off to school and doing all this stuff and phone calls by 8 or 8:30. So it's been nice. It's been nice just to enjoy that time.
Nice.
Yeah,
Excellent.
on a serious note, I would say that really is me too. Like the pandemic as it is, my family tends to sleep in, and so the mornings are just quiet. So I'm out on the back porch with the dogs and a cup of coffee and my Bible, and I've had some of my best times with the Lord through all of this, to be honest with you.
Wow, isn't that neat?
We have too, haven't we? We have loved that.
Yeah, even through the storm, good times can come, can't they? If we look for those times. And that whole be still and know that I'm God. That's a pretty huge thing. Because for us, being still was not part of the equation. We're on the go all the time, but when you can't leave, you pretty much have to be still.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, we realized today that Eddie and I haven't been in each other's actual presence for about 9 weeks now, and that's the longest since we couldn't remember. Like you'd have to go back to maybe the 90s sometime, And that's depressing. I like to be in the presence of my buddy,
Yeah. Thanks. I feel.
I was talking about another buddy, but yeah, go ahead.
That's why I was going to ask the next question is what's something that you missed during this time? That's how we are too. We miss being with our forever family, with more people than just each other, which we love our time together, but we miss a lot of people.
But Mary does send me to the barn quite a bit to build projects.
Is that why you cut your hair so she quit sending you away?
Just on that note, what's something that maybe you don't miss during this pandemic?
It is during this time you realize how precious, it sounds cliche, but just how precious life is and people are. And I don't miss, we just put ourselves in that little hamster wheel, you know what I mean? I don't miss that, the race of it, the fast pace of it, because this has been really nice to just enjoy and to kind of steep down in conversations. It'll be interesting. Like I was on the road this past weekend, and it was like everybody was on the road, and I was going I was on a 65 mile per hour road. I was like 60, maybe 58, just taking my time, and people were like meow 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 meow, and I felt I was aware that I was going slow. I was in no hurry. And then I was aware that, I need to pick up. I need to get going. I need to keep up with everybody else. I don't miss that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. That expands in so many different avenues.
Yeah, you don't miss the rat race.
Yeah.
Right. I think the word that keeps coming up to me is I don't miss the clutter. I had some clutter in my life that now just seems to be gone. And it's like, wow, I don't miss that a bit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's a good word. Because there's nowhere to go and nothing to do, our family time has just been like precious. Like that's like what'll be sad for me is when things open up and go back to whatever normal is. I'm going to miss the fact that my kids are going to go do things that they want to do, and so just our time together has been precious.
Yeah. It really reminds me a lot of growing up. Growing up, we had meals together. You know, we went to church together. I tell everybody now, me and Mary have an all-time high. We've been to 7 church services on Sunday morning, on one Sunday morning. And we've never done that in our lives. You know, but just doing those things together, our grandkids come over once a week just for their field trip, and we social distance and do some barbecuing of hot dogs and all that kind of stuff. But it's just fun doing things that we haven't done in a while because that clutter was there.
Yeah, makes sense. I also love how when you talk about things, we feel like we have to make sure everybody knows we're social distancing. Right? When you're like,
right,
we had family over, we social distanced. You know.
Dude, hey, that's a term we've never used before in our lives, and now it's like we want to make sure everybody knows that we're being politically correct and socially distancing.
It's so true. Okay, we have a really big question for y'all now. Tell us how you got involved with Celebrate Recovery, because I know you both have different Celebrate Recovery stories, so we want to hear that.
Because a lot of folks may not know who the Skit Guys are and why they're such an important part of our family.
Yeah.
Ed, you want to start that one?
Sure. Mine was a work release program, and I'm good. I got about a year left, I think.
Yeah. Well, he did some bad stuff.
I was part of Saddleback staff back in the early 90s, and Johnny Baker was a part of the student ministry that I was working in, and so I got to know him, and through him I got to know his dad, John Sr., and John Sr. started developing Celebrate Recovery. And during that time, I was hanging out with Johnny, and John Sr. was one of the first people that would be like, hey, do you know you apologize for everything? And I'm like, I do? I'm sorry. And he goes, you just did it again. And I'm like, oh, I did? I'm sorry. Quit apologizing. I'm sorry. So I started realizing through him, I mean, he was helping me understand what a codependent was and that I needed to go to a meeting. And so at the age of, I think, 21 or 22, something like that, I was going to some of the first Celebrate Recovery meetings there in California, and going there on Friday nights and being a part of Celebrate Recovery in its infancy. And John Sr. was my sponsor, and I went through the 12 steps. I got to watch him, like, put him down on a napkin, so to speak, and live him out and watch other people live him out. So it's been a beautiful process seeing what God has done with all of it. It's bigger than anybody, and it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I love that. I actually knew about a lot of the principles and guidelines and things about CR before I even knew what CR was, because they became such an integral part of Eddie's life. And you know, he would say something, and I would just think, gosh, that's deep. This guy knows his stuff. But he just learned in the program. But we started being a part of the summits. Gosh, how long ago was it, Eddie? Do you know? Hold on, I'm going to look at you. How long ago was it? I'm on the other side.
Oh, was it 11?
What? 11?
Was it 11? 11?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we'll go with 11. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so probably about 11 years ago, and I loved it. I thought, this is great for those people. And, you know, and I was like, oh, yeah, I just love how they had problems and needed help, and they got help. And I loved it. I loved going, but it was like, not for me. These people are a little too honest. And meanwhile, I didn't realize, you know, the old statement, you're only as sick as your secrets. You know, I didn't realize the secrets that were inside of me, and the hurts and the habits that just, they snuck up on me, you know. And for me, there came a point, just a turning point, where I realized I was broken, you know, and that I was addicted, you know. And I ended up driving home from an airport drunk. And I you know, I realized I had a problem, but I really thought I would just take care of it myself. Like, I would tell a few friends and I'd be fine. And then at one summit in Tennessee, it was during the last session, when everybody's nailing things to the cross. And I left the room, not in a bad way. I was like, and I went in this back room and I'm just sitting there. And I said to God, I said, hey, if you want me to do more in my recovery, you're just going to have to send somebody. And I mean, it was so silly. Don't do that to God unless you want him to answer your prayer. Because like it literally was 5 minutes or less later that Mac walked in the room and just said, well, like Mac, he said, hey, brother, why did God tell me to come find you, And, I know my jaw had to just hit the floor, and it was that moment of like, oh, wow, I need to do more. And so that's when CR really became an integral part of my life. So.
How cool. Well, I remember when you guys first started coming, and how everybody loved you being there. And, when I think about you two, I tell people this all the time. All the people that I know, I can't think of a common denominator why I know them. But all the people I love, they always make me laugh. And you guys make me and Mary laugh. And, like Mary said earlier, recovery is hard work. And if you don't take time to stop and laugh, you're going to miss out on a lot of high points that I think God has for us in our lives. So I just want to thank you for being part of our Celebrate Recovery family, for coming every year and making us laugh. But not only that, for those of you that haven't been to a summit, they'll make us laugh during the first couple days, but then that last day, don't be surprised if you see some tears coming from what they do, because you guys also take us to some places where we really look deep at ourselves and see the things that we still need to work on, but also see the process that God is working on us with. So I just want to thank you for that. I would ask you one other question. For first-time attendees, people that have never come to the summit before, what do you think that they can expect to take away from the summit?
Oh, that it's an impossible place to social distance.
Yeah, there's a lot of huggers at the summit.
I'll miss that.
I think boundaries are considered suggestions there.
So the question is, what would a first timer take away from a summit? Was that the question?
Right. Yes.
I think a big one would be, you're going to go away with just like a buffet table of knowledge. You're going to come away with just like on Thanksgiving Day, when you see all the items spread out, the turkey and all the side items and everything, right? I mean, that's what a summit is like. You just get up to the table and you are going to spiritually eat all kinds of things, and it helps you go away. First you burp, and then you go, oh wow, that was a lot. That was a lot. But once you digest it in your home, you start to live out everything that you went up to the table for. And what's so great is every person that delivers something at the summit, they have prayed over it, they've come prepared, and they've had you in mind. They have you in mind to teach you something so you can go back and be twice as better as you were when you first got there, so you can help other people and spread God's fame.
Well, that's a good word. I would say my experience, I remember it was actually at the same summit, Mac, where you came and talked to me. But right before I left that room, I was sitting in there and I was watching everything that was happening. And in a split second, the thought process that went through my head was, these people have created a new kind of Christianity. And then immediately the thought was, nope, they figured out what it's supposed to be. And I think what you get when you go to Summit, you see what Christianity can be, and in my opinion, what it should be. Because all of the pretenses are gone. You get to hear not just the victories, but the struggles and the challenges and everything that goes along with it. And God's glorified in all of it. I mean, Eddie would agree with me because we talk about it. The summits are our favorite thing that we do every year. There's no better place to be, you know? And so yeah. You can't begin to imagine if you've never been to a summit, if you've never experienced a summit, you can't begin to imagine what it's like. It's life changing.
Can you play I Can Only Imagine on the piano, Tommy?
I can only imagine what it will be like when we're standing by your side. I can only imagine.
There you go. That's
There you
good.
go.
Excellent. You know what? Just you guys sharing both those things you just shared reminded me of our first summit, and I went really knowing everything about recovery. I was thinking, what are these people going to? I mean, somebody gave us a free ticket to go to California in the middle of the summer. Why wouldn't I go there, right? And so I kept telling Mary, we're going to leave early every day. And every day we stayed till 9 o'clock. The first night we stayed till 10 o'clock the next night. And by the third day I told Mary, we are stopping what we're doing and we're doing this.
Wow.
And for those of you that know me, sometimes, I love to laugh, but I can also be a little intense sometimes. So I went up to Cheryl Baker right after it was over, and I just said in my most intense, serious face, we're stopping what we're doing and we're starting this. We're doing it. And I walked away and she was like, okay. So I pretty much scared her. Since then, we've become best friends, the Bakers and us. But it started off on a little bit of a shaky note there at first. I'll never forget one of our good friends, another Cheryl Baker story, was at the summit at one time and saw Cheryl going to nail something to a cross, and he went up to her and he said, hey, I just want to tell you, you just keep coming back. It'll get better. And then he went and sat down, and 2 minutes later, Cheryl got up on stage, and he never forgave me for not telling him who that was.
That is fantastic.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So anyway, look, there's just tons of great stuff that you can take away from the summit. We laugh, we cry, we experience new highs, and it's the neatest thing I've been a part of. How about you, Mary?
Me too. I can't wait. It's going to be so exciting because we're going to get to do this with people all over the world now. People that couldn't afford to come all the way to the United States. Now we can be together, even though it's not going to be in person this time. We're still going to get to praise and worship together. It's going to be exciting.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, Mary. Hey, Mary. Hey, you mind if I come something? That'll be okay.
Yeah, that'd be all right. You come on.
Come on.
Hey, look at this shirt. I mean, come as you are.
That's
Hey,
right.
I'm gonna come. You got that right. I'm gonna come as I am. You got that right.
I'm excited because Roberta's going to get to attend this year.
Hey, she's a kitty. What's her name? What's her name?
It's Roberta.
Hi, Berta. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hi.
Hey, what's the 1-800 number that I need to call to get registered for the summit?
What?
drsummit.com. You gotta get on the internet, buddy. You can't just get on the phone.
drsummit.com. All right. Operators are standing by. I'm excited.
Dude, we should have wore our Broken Chains jackets. Dang.
Yeah.
Would have been fantastic.
That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome.
No.
It's a cut, not a jacket.
What?
Cut.
It's a cut, not a jacket.
A cut?
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
So they call them cuts.
Well, it's a jacket. It's a jacket.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Is you guys, Mary's going to close us with a prayer, and then we'll sign up. Let's let Mary pray.
I think you're gonna take those off. Maybe I'll pray.
Hey, is Johnny Baker going to be at the summit this year?
Yes, he will be. He's listening tonight, as a matter of fact. So.
He'll be there.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to close this in prayer. I love to bless everybody before we leave. Children of God, May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and give you peace. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Father, we pray for all who are on here tonight for the first time. We're glad they're here and we hope they'll keep coming back. It felt so good to laugh tonight. Thank you for Tommy and Eddie. We look forward to hearing more from the Skit Guys at the online CR Summit. We pray, Father, for your comfort and peace for those who have lost loved ones to COVID. We pray for healing physically, spiritually, and emotionally from the hurts that have happened over the past few months. You promise that you will never leave us, and we hang on to that truth. We will walk by faith, not by sight, trusting you all the way. Thank you, God, that you are for us, that you are not against us. You are with us. You're walking with us through the pandemic. We want to become a better forever family through this time we're in, while giving hope to our hurting world. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mary.
Hey, this whole online thing, the crosstalk that's going on throughout it is just unacceptable. Like, somebody needs to work on that. The whole time, people are just talking all over here. Like, that's just crazy.
Alexa, what's a cross?
So when you talk about the cross.
All right, if any of you out there are thinking about throwing a Celebrate Recovery party, we want to hear from you guys and we want to recognize your churches. So let us know if you're going to buy that block of tickets and have that big Celebrate Recovery Come Rejoice party. We want
Let us. Berta's looking for a party to attend, so please.
Thank you, Tommy and Eddie.
Thank you, Tommy and Eddie. We love you guys. Good to see you. Bye.
Bye.